Today the fun is over, stay away from the final comparison. Goku and Saitama are often mentioned as the strongest anime characters, however, this much discussed duel was never really fair, not even in concept. Goku represents effort, constant evolution, the hero's journey. Saitama is the boredom of invincibility. He has already reached the top and has nowhere else to grow. Comparing the two directly ignores the fact that they serve completely different narrative purposes. The challenge here is different, not putting the strongest versions of each one face to face. How far would Saitama be able to keep up with Goku, version by version, from the beginning of Dragon Ball to his most insane levels in Super, surpassing the power of conventional gods and destruction? Would he be able to wipe out Goku in his final version and still have power left, or do Goku's feats still go beyond Saitama? I previously analyzed how Saitama would fare in the Dragon Ball universe, but this video directly compares him to Goku. To finally settle this discussion by talking only about the main feats and the logic of each work, to really find out who is the strongest between the two. When the franchise began, Goku was a young boy with extraordinary strength for his age. He was already able to lift cars, defeat trained adults, and eventually even transform into a giant ape with power multiplied by 10. Master Kame had to destroy the moon with a Kamehameha to contain him. Later, after dying to the old King Piccolo, Goku drinks the sacred water, survives, and comes back with enough power to defeat the rejuvenated Piccolo, someone who claimed to have the strength to devastate the Earth. According to the manga, Piccolo would have achieved this, placing Kid Goku's power between moon and planetary levels, based on interpretation. So you can see that comparing Kid Goku with other characters isn't an absurd comparison. In fact, I recently made a video comparing Kid Goku to All Might, where even though it was a somewhat balanced fight, Goku still came out on top. A lot of people say you need 10,000 power level to destroy a planet in Dragon Ball, but that's not true. That does show up in a guide. It's a legendary manga, but that refers to large planets. In fact, even in that same guide, Goku from classic Dragon Ball was already described as capable of destroying a planet, referring to a large planet. Let's remember, in our own solar system, there are already planets 300 times bigger than Earth, with more than 1,000 times Earth's mass. So Earth in Dragon Ball is also considered a small planet. That's why Piccolo could destroy it. And the author wrote that specifically to show that Piccolo already had that level of power. Not that Piccolo calculated it, the author put that there. We'll soon discuss hyperbole and other concepts, as it's crucial for this video. But beginner Saitama was already a monster. While Goku struggled for years to evolve, Saitama became an absurd being just by doing push-ups, squats, and light running for 3 years. In the first season, he faces Boros, who had a healing factor, interstellar strength, and an attack that would destroy the surface of planet Earth. Saitama responds with a single serious punch and knocks out Boros, also dispersing the clouds on Earth with just one impact. But if we consider this as his basic level, it's already clear that no version of the classic would stand a chance against him. That's because Piccolo Daimao wouldn't destroy the planet with just one blow. And even though Goku defeated him, Piccolo said he would destroy 1.43 targets on Earth per year with a laser beam. That's in the blink of an eye. But we don't know exactly how far Boros' destruction of Earth's surface would go. Whether it would be the entire surface to the point of destroying all life. However, Boros' power does not match Saitama's, whose strength would greatly surpass it. And I think I don't need to argue any further. Let's save time, because you must already agree that Kid Goku doesn't surpass Saitama at the beginning against Boros. In the Saiyajin Saga, Goku levels up, but it's still not enough. Goku returns stronger, masters Kaioken, and confronts Nappa and Vegeta. By using the Kaioken 4 times, he manages to counter the Garrick Road and Vegeta, who had enough power to destroy the Earth. But he ends the fight with his whole body wrecked because of using the technique and because Vegeta had transformed into an Ozaru. At this point, there's little doubt that Goku is planetary. Although some guides claim he already was, being planetary is now a minimum requirement to participate in the series. But Saitama had effortlessly dealt with similar threats before. Boros even remarks that the bald hero was holding back during their fight. Even though Goku has better techniques and fighting instinct, he wouldn't survive a direct hit from Saitama at this stage. I don't even think we'd need to use the Saitama who fought against Garou for this. Now the scale of destruction starts to escalate. Arriving on Namek, Goku faces Frieza, a villain who already destroyed planet Vegeta with a finger in his first form. After training and recovering, Goku tries the Kaioken times 20 and the Spirit Bomb, but nothing defeats the Tyrant. Only after the death of Kuririn, the legendary form, the Super Saiyajin, awakens. This transformation puts Goku on a level far above the previous ones, as it multiplies his power by 50 times. He blocks attacks from a being capable of destroying planets with ease, and, depending on the interpretation of the dialogue and context, he could even scale to a stellar or solar level. But the Saitama from the manga already surpasses that. When Saitama faces awakened Garou, the power scale changes completely. Garou had copied techniques, manipulated cosmic energy, and became an avatar of divine power. Even so, Saitama grows in power every second, reaching the point of surpassing himself. Even if Garou could copy Saitama's power, it only meant he was copying the power of that moment, and Saitama would adapt and raise his power even further. This ability to adapt will be crucial here for Saitama. The clash of punches between the two, the famous serious punch squared, has enough impact to make stars disappear in the background of the scene. But even if you ignore this effect by saying it's just visual, we're still talking about guaranteed stellar destruction. In other words, Saitama is still ahead, even against Super Saiyajin 1 Goku. And what about proven speed? When it comes to speed, the competition is tight. Go-Kuu, using Kaioken and Super Saiyajin forms, moves at speeds far beyond light speed. Some people incorrectly claim Dragon Ball only surpassed light speed in Super, citing Dispo as the speed of light benchmark, but this is misinformed. That's actually extremely uninformed. Really uninformed, because basically the Dragon Ball Super manga doesn't have that line, and Toei Animation often takes Akira Toriyama's general idea and writes their own script on top of it, so a lot of things in the anime have absolutely nothing to do with it. They're essentially Toei's ideas, but still within the logic of the manga that Akira Toriyama created himself. He created the story. In Dragon Ball, the speed of light was surpassed long ago. Many consider Saitama a comedic character. That's why he would be unbeatable. But Goku surpassed the Taioken, an attack at light speed no matter how absurd it seems. In the classic series, they had the speed of light. It was even said that Goku could dodge lasers. Tenshinhan moves faster than the eye can see, similar to Peak Yulo, which can be seen in the manga. He uses the Taioken technique. Goku visits Master Roshi, borrows his glasses, puts them on, and resists. The scene continues. First, Tenshinhan uses the move. He says Taioken. Right after that, he goes after Goku. But Goku grabs his hand, punches him, and you notice that Goku put on a pair of sunglasses. When Tenshinhan asks where he got the sunglasses, Master Roshi realizes his own pair is missing. And in the Dragon Ball guides, the Taioken technique is described as literal beams of light. He not only moved faster than light, but also grabbed an object, put it on his face, hit Tenshinhan, and struck a pose. That's how it happened. And I really don't think the speed of light made sense there for Goku in classic Dragon Ball, honestly. That may have been somewhat inconsistent. But if it was inconsistent, that already adds a bit to the argument that he would be a kind of comedic character, just like Saitama. The very training with Mr. Popo, when it wasn't one of the strongest versions of Goku from the classic series, Mr. Popo was already teaching Goku to move faster than lightning. The scene, consistent or not, was designed to demonstrate Goku's incredible speed. To explain a bit of this inconsistency, I started to think that maybe Goku realized that Tenshinhan was going to attack, so he went to Master Roshi, returned to the fight, and reacted before Tenshinhan used the technique. That could explain that Goku wasn't moving at the speed of light, right? And you can believe that without any problem. Even so, it's still a very high speed. He was already dodging lasers, like the ones from the Red Ribbon, and he trained to move as fast as lightning. He also fought against enemies faster than the human eye can see, like Tenshinhan and Jekyll, and he dodged bullets easily, which were supersonic speed. If we consider a stronger version of Goku from the classic series, with the speed of lightning, he would already have a third of the speed of light. In Dragon Ball Z, characters surpassed the speed of light long ago. Imagine the incredible speed required for an attack to leave a spaceship and destroy an entire planet. The attack must be incredibly fast since space travel is time-consuming. Vegeta destroyed planets using only his fingers. So those energy beams that the characters usually dodge actually show that their reaction speed has already surpassed the speed of light a long time ago, even in Dragon Ball Z. Just because Toei Animation added something not in the manga or created by Akira Toriyama doesn't mean it's correct or sensible. If you think about how Gotenks went around the Earth several times in a very short period, that surpasses the speed of light so easily that it shows the speed of light was never a barrier. However, Saitama, in the Garou arc, moves between Jupiter's moons in milliseconds and dodges one-directional attacks on a four-dimensional scale. Fans calculate that he reaches billions of times the speed of light, although these estimates vary. But Saitama, at the very least, doesn't lose in speed up to that point, which is already impressive. What few people notice is that Saitama breaks the concept of limits. Unlike Goku, who trains intensely and dies to become stronger, Saitama evolves instantly through spontaneous growth during combat. He doesn't need to eat a god seed or fuse, he simply gets stronger for no reason, and Guru confirms it. Despite copying everything, he can't keep up. Saitama becomes stronger as the fight progresses, and this never stops. In the next part, we'll summarize the Cell Saga, Majin Buu, God Goku, Blue, and Ultra Instinct, determining who prevails when both reach their peaks. In the Cell Saga, power and strategy converge, shifting the story's focus after the Frieza arc. Cell represents not only brute strength, but also adaptation, absorption, and intelligence. Goku masters the stable Super Saiyajin form and trains with Gohan in the hyperbolic time chamber. But the saga's highlight is Gohan as Super Saiyajin 2, who rages and destroys Cell with a final Kamehameha. Goku admits that despite his best efforts, he wasn't the most powerful. This demonstrates that despite his high level, Goku still adhered to the principle of growth through training, pain, and overcoming obstacles. That wasn't unlimited, it was mortal, and Saitama still sees that as just a warm-up. If we put Saitama against any version up to that saga, the result would be the same. One punch and the fight is over. This is because even before reaching his peak in the manga, Saitama was already destroying giant meteors with a single punch, dodging hyperspeed attacks, and emerging from fights unscathed. He never used his full strength, but in the Majin Buu saga, things become truly absurd. The Buu saga breaks all rules with fusions, endless regenerations, dimension-ripping screams, and villains threatening the entire universe. Kid Buu is the most destructive form, pure chaos without emotion, and Buuhan, after absorbing Gohan, tears the fabric of reality. Super Buu warps space with his voice, yet Goku only triumphs using the Spirit Bomb, empowered by all beings from Earth and the afterlife. If you want to scale Goku's Super Saiyajin 3 as a universal level, and many people do that, then we have an extremely powerful Goku, but at that point, he didn't have the level to destroy the entire Universe 7. So I don't agree. With limited usage and extreme energy drain like Super Saiyajin 3, Goku could be at a disadvantage against Saitama, who doesn't get tired and needs no help. Goku usually lets his opponent power up, just like he did with Broly. Saitama can repeatedly use his fatal punch, and Garu's involvement changes the game in Saitama's favor. In the manga, Garu awakens and begins wielding divine power. He copies techniques, predicts moves, and evolves constantly, but fails to handle Saitama's insane real-time growth during the fight, providing a better comparison basis. Saitama reaches levels of strength that make the heroes teleport him so the impact of the fight doesn't hit the planet, and even with all that power, he keeps growing and growing. By the way, Saitama learns time travel just by watching Garu do it, and uses it to go back in time and defeat the villain before the tragedy. This puts him on such an absurd level that not even the story knows how to stop him anymore. Could Goku really put an end to this? About this move of going back in time, Goku could only do it if he predicted Saitama's move before he even thought about going back in time. Consider how Goku predicted Tenshinhan's move the moment he realized what Tenshinhan was planning. He predicted Hit's move to go back in time and had already prepared for the consequences. Stopping time and going back in time are different. But predicting is the same thing, Goku, if he had enough speed to react to it. Before that, he could manage it. Also, in Dragon Ball, characters often break temporal fields with power alone, as Jiren did in the manga. He broke the time distortion caused by Hit, where only Jiren was trapped in a different temporal dimension, but he managed to escape using brute force nullifying the attack. This happened in Dragon Ball. Sometimes attacks just don't work when one character is much stronger than the other. That's the logic. While not totally impossible, let's discuss Goku's latest transformation, Super Saiyajin God. Goku's Super Saiyajin God transformation elevates him to deal with divine beings, an energy that transcends the common physical logic of the universe. And when he fights against Beerus, the clash of their fists threatens to destroy the entire universe. And here's the thing, Goku absorbs this power in his base form afterwards, which means he carries divine strength in his daily life. This makes any previous version of him completely obsolete. Here, Saitama finally starts to face resistance. If Saitama reaches galactic or universal power levels against Garu, he can go toe-to-toe with Goku. But wouldn't that contradict my other video where I said that Saitama's greatest feat doesn't surpass the greatest feat from the Majin Buu saga? Actually, that's true. Saitama's greatest feat doesn't surpass the greatest feat from the Majin Buu saga, where Majin Buu could destroy that dimension and parallel dimensions, a multi-dimensional feat. But that was an analysis based on the reality of both works, up to where each story went, and Saitama would stop at that feat. It doesn't necessarily mean that Saitama couldn't defeat Majin Buu, it just shows that Saitama hasn't yet reached Buuhan's level in terms of feats proven in battle. Considering that most of the time, a 4D reality in anime doesn't correspond to a 4D reality in real life. When Goku reaches Ultra Instinct, the advantage likely shifts to his side. In this state, Goku moves instinctively, dodging and counterattacking with precision. He achieves a new level of consciousness and complete control over his body. Not just raw power. It's basically mind against chaos. Saitama is pure physical chaos. He grows without restraint, while Goku embodies the disciplined mind in battle, representing controlled evolution. Like Saitama, Goku also tends to break the limits of his own story. With each arc, he learns, adapts his techniques, and molds the divine forms to his style. This makes him a threat not just because of his power, but because of his ability to learn, improvise, and overcome at the right moment. Ultra Instinct transcends him as a warrior. If we're talking about speed, Gas, the warrior Goku was fighting evenly with in the manga, has a speed of 2.5 quadrillion times the speed of light, which is much greater than Saitama's speed, because Gas can cross the entire universe in 20 minutes. Goku reaches his technical peak during the Tournament of Power, but he keeps evolving that peak with Ultra Instinct, breaking through all barriers in later sagas. Against Jiren, the power is so high that space-time in the arena collapses. The gods stand up in shock. Even Zeno, who erases universes with a snap of his fingers, watches in silence. And even so, Goku isn't satisfied. He keeps evolving. In the post-tournament era, Goku faces Moro, who absorbs planetary energy, Granola, who wishes to become the strongest in the universe, and Gas, who distorts space-time through pure emotional intensity. So, just like Saitama can fight using space-time, Goku can too, although it's not clear how these interactions would work between them. Goku is now more than a limit-surpassing Saiyajin. He is a transformative being who converts defeats into immense power and strength. Each fight makes Goku stronger. At this point, his destructive power is already scaled as universal or multiversal. Even in Super Saiyajin God form, the exchange of punches between Goku and Beerus tore the space-time fabric, threatening the entire universe. And it's not because he didn't destroy the entire universe that he wouldn't have that level. Fans calculate Goku's current power level based on the series' logic, although it's uncertain. Some argue that Goku is already close to 50 septillion in power level. I won't go into the calculations to demonstrate the magnitude of this because most people won't understand, and many don't even like it. But what about Saitama at his peak, breaking everything that's measurable, when he simply breaks the concept of scale? In this form, he surpasses all his previous versions, and each punch is stronger than the last. He evolves to the point of leaving his own past behind, literally rewriting history. Even with his cosmic power, Guru can't keep up with him. Then comes the most absurd part. Saitama observes a time travel technique just once and replicates it purely by instinct. It's like Goku going back in time and replicating the Kamehameha to defeat Garu before he becomes a monster, saving everyone. Then he merges with his past version, keeping his memories and possibly his power. Saitama reaches a level where narrative logic bends to him. So who wins in that case? The answer depends on the game rules. In terms of actual feats, raw power, speed, and abilities, Saitama lacks hacks while Goku has teleportation, ki sensing, and the ability to hide his presence. For example, Goku can instantly teleport far away to devise a strategy. Goku has way more abilities than Saitama as a warrior. While Saitama has plot armor, Goku operates on multidimensional levels with control, technique, and battle intelligence. Goku has access to resources that Saitama never needed to develop since he was never challenged enough. And yes, even the gags cancel each other out. While some claim Saitama's victory due to his joke character status, Goku has also had moments that verge on the absurd. Nearly all of Goku's serious fights in Dragon Ball Super have been largely illogical. For example, he can move within stop time. So couldn't he also move within time that's being reversed? Everything seems really absurd. Both sagas. So just because Saitama can do it, doesn't mean Goku couldn't. The very concept of Dragon Ball is breaking limits. And if the criteria is anything goes, both have arguments. But if the criteria is a combat narrative with internal logic and consequences, Saitama could easily win up to the Buu Saga. Characters already have feats surpassing Saitama's, not even considering Super Saiyajin Blue and intermediate forms. Let's jump to Ultra Instinct to keep the video concise. There, Goku not only matches that immense power, but surpasses it with his technique, adaptability, and actual combat experience. But since Saitama evolves a lot in every fight and probably has infinite potential to evolve, we'll have two scenarios. Either Goku, being much stronger, kills Saitama right away by using all of his power at once. Or Saitama would adapt, and if he kept scaling up like Broly, he could surpass Goku. But the honest conclusion remains, they never should have even fought, because this battle was never about who would win with more power. It was about two opposing philosophies of strength. One that's born ready and doesn't know what to do with it, and another that only finds itself after falling, getting back up, and repeating the process 1,000 times. Goku from the current manga is stronger than Saitama in terms of feats, raw power, and speed due to his lower axis. Goku may be more skilled in martial arts, but Saitama's passive ability could still give him the edge in a fight, despite Goku's superior combat technique. He keeps taking hits, he gets stronger, and he adapts to everything. So, depending on how you interpret it, Saitama could fight, he could win, but currently Goku is stronger than Saitama. This was a more complete version, based on all the comments I received on the videos about Saitama in the Dragon Ball universe. Comment below the next video you want to see and leave a like. Join the Z universe and help me reach 400K subscribers. We're almost there. That's all for now. Thanks for your support. I'm out.